Hello, students. Welcome back to your history class. I am Mrs. Jenny Shah, and we are doing Chapter 9, The Industrial Revolution. Last class, we saw about Industrial Revolution and we saw about the coal and iron industry. Today, we will look into the revolution in the cotton spinning and weaving. The British had always woven cloth out of wool and flax to make linen. From the 17th century, the country had been importing bales of cotton cloth from India at great cost. As the East India Company's political control of parts of India was established, it began to import, along with cloth, even raw cotton. And this could be spun and woven into cloth in England. Till the early 18th century, spinning had been so slow and laborious that 10 spinners were required to supply sufficient yarn to keep a single weaver busy. Mostly women were the spinners, and hence the word spinster is used for women. Therefore, while the spinners were occupied all day, weavers waited idly to receive the yarn. But a series of technological inventions successfully closed this gap between the speed in spinning raw cotton into a yarn or thread and weaving the yarn into a fabric. In this picture, women worked the treadmill that lowered the lid of the cotton press. To make spinning even more efficient, production gradually shifted from homes of spinners and weavers into factories. To make it even more efficient, production gradually shifted from homes to factories. From 1780s, the cotton industry symbolized British industrialization in many ways. This industry had two features, which were also seen in other industries. Raw cotton had to be entirely imported, and a large part of the finished cloth was exported. This sustained the process of colonization. So now Britain could retain control over the sources of raw cotton as well as markets. The industry was heavily dependent on the work of women and children in factories. This exemplified the ugly face of early industrialization. Okay, so this shows the ugly face of industrialization where this industry, the cotton industry, was heavily dependent upon the work of women and children in factories. Now, the flying shuttle loom. This was designed by John Kay who lived from 1704 to 1764. In 1733, it, he made it possible to weave broader fabrics in less time and consequently called for more yarn that could be supplied at the prevailing pace of spinning. Okay. These are the inventions of the Industrial Revolution. James Watt, he created the first steam engine. Henry Ford, he has the first Model T Ford assembly line. L. L. Whitney, the cotton gin. He made interchangeable parts for muskets. Robert Fulton, he was a regular steamboat service on the Hudson River. Nikola Tesla, induction electronic motor. Samuel F. Morse, he invented the telegraph. Elias Hope, he invented the sewing machine. Isaac Singer, he improved and marketed Hope's sewing machine. Alexander Graham Bell, he invented the telephone. Orville and Wilbur Wright, the first airplanes by the Wright brothers. Rudolf Diesel invented the diesel engine. And Thomas Edison, he invented the phonograph and the light bulb. So many inventions took place during the Industrial Revolution. The spinning jenny was a machine made by James Hargreaves in 1765. On this machine, a single person could spin several yarns simultaneously. This provided the weavers with the yarns at a faster rate than they could weave it into a fabric. So now another gap was there. The yarn was being spinning faster than being weaved into a cloth. So this is spinning jenny. On this machine, a single person can spin several threads of yarn simultaneously, and this made spinning faster than the weaver could weave it into a fabric. The water frame, which Richard Arkwright invented in 1769, it produced a thread much stronger than before. It also made possible to weave pure cotton fabrics rather than fabrics that combined linen and cotton yarn. The mule, it was a nickname for a machine invented in 1779 by Samuel Crompton. It allowed the spinning of strong and fine yarn. This is the mule. The cycle of inventions in the cotton and textile industry sought to maintain a balance between the task of spinning and weaving. This concluded with the invention of the power loom by Edmund Cartwright. This was easy to work. It stopped automatically every time a thread broke, and it could be used to weave any kind of material. From 1830, developments in this industry concentrated on increasing the productivity of workers rather than bringing new machines into use. So from 1830 now they started to focus on production rather than bringing in new machines. Now we'll talk about the steam revolution. The revolution, the realization that steam could also generate tremendous power, was decisive to a large scale industrialization. Water as a hydraulic power had been the prime source of energy for centuries, but it had been limited to certain areas, seasons, and by the speed of flow of the water. Now it was also used differently. So, up till now, we used to use water as hydraulic power, and it was the prime source of energy for centuries. But it was limited to certain areas and to certain seasons. But now, steam power provided pressure at high temperatures. This enabled the use of a broad range of machinery. This meant that steam power was the only source of energy that was reliable, inexpensive, and it was more than enough to manufacture machine itself. So now they found steam power. Steam power was first used in mining industries as the demand for coal and metals expanded. Efforts to obtain them from even deeper mines now intensified. Flooding in the mines was a big problem. So Thomas Savery, he built a model steam engine called the Miner's Friend in 1698, and this engine was made to drain mines. These engines worked very slowly in shallow depths and boiler burst under too much pressure. Another steam engine was later built by Thomas Newman. This had the major defect of losing energy due to continuous cooling of the condensing cylinder. Finally, the steam engine had been used only in coal mines until James Watt, he developed his engine. Watt's invention converted the steam engine from being a mere pump into a prime mover. Now it was capable of providing energy to power machines in factories. Backed by the wealthy manufacturers, Matthew Boulton, Watt created the Soho Foundry in Birmingham. This is a fantastic picture. He created the Soho Foundry in Birmingham, and from this foundry, he produced many steam engines. From this foundry, many steam engines were produced in steady growing numbers. By the end of 18th century, Watt's steam engine was beginning to replace hydraulic power. Look at these inventors and inventions. The picture we just saw was of the condensing steam engine, seed drill, coke-fired furnace. These are all the inventions of the Industrial Revolution. Spinning jenny, flying shuttle, penny darren, and road surface. After 1800, steam engine technology was further developed with the use of lighter, stronger metals. The manufacture was more accurate machine tools and the spread of better scientific knowledge. Okay. In 1840, British steam engines were generating more than 70% of all of Europe's horsepower. Why is it called horsepower? Horses turned the wheels to grind metal. The use of steam reduced the dependence on manpower and horsepower. Watt's inventions are not only limited to steam engine, he also invented a chemical process for copying documents. He also created a unit of measurement based on comparing mechanical power with that of the previous universal power source, the horse. Watt's measurement unit, horsepower, equates the ability of a horse to lift 33,000 pounds, that is 1 foot, a minute. Horsepower remains as a universally used index of mechanical energy. The next great invention was of canals and railways. Now, canals were initially built to transport coal to cities. This was because the bulk and weight of coal made the transport by road much slower and more expensive than by barges on the canals. The demand for coal as industrial energy and for heating and lighting homes in the cities, it grew constantly. The making of the first English canal, the Worsley Canal, by James Brindley, and its completion, and it had no other purpose other than to carry coal from the coal deposits at Worsley to that of the city. After this can was completed, the price of coal fell by half. They reduced. Canals were usually built by big landowners to increase the value of mines, quarries, or forests on their land. So basically, this was the use of canal. So there was a canal mania that took place. The confluence of canals created marketing centers in new towns. The city of Birmingham owed its growth and its position at the heart of a canal system that connected London, the Bristol Canal, and the Mersey and the Humber connect rivers. 25 new canals were made from 1760 to 1790. So the big businessmen, they built canals in order to increase the value of their miles, quarries, or forage on their land. The construction of canals, it paved way for the emergence of many new markets in new towns. The British Canal, Channel, and Mersey and Humber rivers. In the period known as the Canal Mania from 1788 to 1796, 46 projects for building for 25 new canals began. This period is known as Canal Mania. And over the next 60 years, more than 4,000 miles of canals were built in London. The first steam locomotive, Stephen's Rocket, appeared in 1814. Railways emerged as new means of transportation that was available throughout the year, both cheap and fast, to carry passengers and goods. They combined two inventions: the iron track, which replaced the wooden track in 1760, and the haulage along it by the steam engine. The invention of railways took the entire process of industrialization to the second stage. In 1801, Richard Trevithick had devised an engine called the Puffing Devil. It pulled trucks around the mine where he worked in Cornwall. In 1814, the railway engineer George Stephenson constructed a locomotive called the Blucher. This could pull a weight of up to 30 tons at a hill at 4 meters per hour. The first railway line that connected the cities of Stockton and Darlington in 1825 had a distance of 9 miles and was completed in 2 hours at a speed of up to 24 kilometers per hour. And the next railway line connected Liverpool and Manchester in 1830. Within 20 years, the speeds of 30 to 50 miles an hour were very, very usual. Railways linked the factories to the markets, and so they were used in transporting the manufactured goods. In 1830, the use of canals then started revealing lots of problems. The congestion of vessels made movements very slow on certain stretches of the canals, and frost, flood, and drought limited the time of their use. Now, railways appeared as a more convenient alternative. 6,000 miles of railways was now opened in Britain, all between 1830 and 1850. Most of it, most of it in two short bursts. During the Little Railway Mania of 1833 to 37, 1,400 miles of lines were built. And during the Bigger Mania of 1844 to 47, where another 9,500 miles of lines were sanctioned. They used vast amount of coal and iron, employed large number of workers, and boosted activity in the construction and public work industries. Most of England had been connected by England by railway by 1850. So this is how railways became more important than canals. So we've spoken about three things. We spoke about the cotton industry, we spoke about the canal mania, and we spoke about the railways. These were the three most important things. And then we spoke about all the inventions in the Industrial Revolution. Now, next class, we will talk about who were the inventors, how did it change life, who were the workers, etc. Okay. So up till now, you should have understood Industrial Revolution. And now we will look about its consequences. With this, I end today's class, children. Stay home, stay safe, take care, keep learning. Thank you.